My name is Jeanette. I'm from EduGrowth, and welcome to this session today on connecting with a community of expert teachers. We're really excited to have Belinda Judd from Edukana to speak with you today. And I'm going to allow her to introduce herself in a second. But a little bit of housekeeping for everybody. I'm going to mute you all just to make it a little bit easier for everyone on the call so that we don't have too much background noise. And the other thing is, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them into this chat window on the side. I'll be moderating them. I'll feed them through to Belinda and she'll answer them as we go along. So feel free to ask questions as we go and make comments as we go as well. So if there's any thoughts you'd like to add, you're more than welcome to do that too. So, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm going to hand it over to Belinda, and she is going to tell you a little bit about how your businesses can connect with a community of teachers. Thanks, Belinda.
Thanks so much, Jeanette, and thanks for hosting our Launchpad online. I understand we have a really broad cross-section of expertise of people joining in, so that's really exciting. Thank you all for coming along. I would like to introduce Evelina Kek, who has a newest edition as well with her right there. I'll let you say hi, Evelina.
Hi there. I'm a co-founder, product manager, and happy to know the guys for it's been a year and a bit. Yeah, we all met at work, and I worked in education, in an education startup before, started to be a teacher, but now I'm a product manager working in IT, and I'll let Belinda tell you guys the rest.
Sure, so Evelina has a background in education. She's also been a developer, so she knows how to code, and she is priceless because she helps us translate between the design and development side. So it's really seamless and we don't waste any time on that. Victor is our software engineer. Hey, Victor.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Edukana. My name is Victor, and I'm a co-founder with Belinda and Evelina, and I'm the software engineer. So any tech questions, I'm here. Thank you.
Victor's really great. He keeps us focused, and he has 10 years experience as a full stack developer. And he also really understands both sides of the situation. So it's nice, we're agile and we're doing things quite lean, and that just helps us move quickly. We're talking to our users all the time, and that's been really transformative as well. Myself, my background's education, and I've been working in rural and regional New South Wales for about 17 years. I've been in the classroom, but also in like curriculum leadership roles, learning support. I've been deeply engaged with the professional teaching standards and accreditation, and also in state advisory roles for futures learning. So, and I've also written some content for a startup in the EdTech sector. So there's sort of like all the jigsaw pieces that have brought me to this place. But I'm really excited to share Edukana with you. I might share my screen now. Would that be a good time, Jeanette? So that's us, that's our team. So we're an online co-work space for the education sector, and we're also a community of teachers. What we do is we connect teachers who have expertise in different areas to the industry and to innovators in the education space. And we enable, mobilize expertise. So there's a real connect between the industry and between and teachers who can advise and guide on learning solutions. So we all know that we need, when we're developing a solution or a resource, that we need to be in contact with our users at every point. And at this moment in time, you know, it's more critical than ever that we're connecting with talented teachers who can help us to problem solve in education so that the solutions are effective and collaborative. But the difficulty is that I discovered when working for an EdTech startup is that teachers are really hard to find. They're so busy and they're really focused on what they're doing in their physical context. And also the specific expertise that we need is hard to find as well. So another challenge that we found is that existing teacher expertise is underutilised. So when we were chatting with teachers, we found that there was a really high percentage of people, great leaders in the field, who said yes, they want to contribute and to education solutions for the future. So we have this really amazing match, and that's what we've been working with. Because that is such a challenge, you know, finding teachers to guide and advise on solutions, I was just wondering if you wanted to include in the chat, how have you previously solved that problem? We can have a look at that as we go. I'll show you the specific flow of how it works. So our teachers add a professional profile. That includes the qualifications and areas of expertise. We validate the profile and the teachers sign a non-disclosure deed. So one of the, a very popular question that we're asked is, how is the IP of my solution protected? And we have a way, a non-disclosure deed to support that. So when we actually validate, and I'll show you what a teacher profile looks like in a minute, but we really look in great depth. So we're looking at a teacher's qualifications, their teacher registration number, if they're in New South Wales, even working with children check. Although we're not working directly with children, we still are a child safe organisation. Then a little bit deeper into their areas of expertise, what age groups are they working with, and then we look at curriculum areas aligned to ACARA and the syllabus, the general capabilities, areas of diversity. So there's really a broad scope that you'll be able to filter and match to find the exact expertise that you need. Then, because it's a double-sided marketplace, on the other side, the organisations add a profile and they post a project or task in the co-workspace. And then organisations can go through and have a look. At the moment, it's manual to find the expertise in need, but eventually there'll be filtering that will help with that. So this is an example of, once you have posted a task, you can look through and have a look. You can click on view profile of a teacher, and then you can see the different areas that we're looking at closely at the moment. So the general capabilities is a very popular one in terms of solution development at the moment, and student diversity always needs to be considered with any learning solution. And then we also have different areas. Might be how teachers have led projects in their schools or how they've led teams. Teacher accreditation also, and registration and professional learning is another very popular area at the moment.
Hi, Belinda. I've got a question. I'm just wondering, how have you been recruiting the teachers into your network? How do you get in touch with teachers in the first place?
Great question. So we, just a number of ways. To start with, we were making contact with teachers who we knew, leaders in the field. We've been using some social media, and lately it started to happen organically. So I think, especially after your EduGrowth article, Jeanette, we were very popular. The sign-ups were happening and we were very excited because, yeah, it just started something quite new. Up to this point, we have wanted just to be quite slow and steady and make sure that what we're doing is about quality, not quantity. And we're at the point now where the system, where we're up to, it's flowing smoothly, and so teachers are coming to us, and that's fantastic. But we'll just continue, I think, in that vein, you know, across our own professional networks and some online. And of course, as teachers who've won awards, so there's some teachers from overseas now who've said, wow, I love this initiative, and they've joined us. So I think if, you know, if a solution's looking to reach out to a specific area, then, you know, we've got a really great teacher in Singapore, and he's got a network as well that he said, oh, I can't wait to bring them along. So it's
Yeah,
happening.
so are they, so these are through personal networks of your own. I've got a question from Selena. She's asked, how many teachers do you have onboarded at the moment, and are they only from New South Wales?
Great. No, we have about 30 teachers at the moment. And I think, like I said, it was sort of more around the quality at this moment. So we didn't want to go out and recruit 100 teachers. We've been building our teachers to match our projects at the moment. We have teachers from Victoria, we have South Australia, we have Queensland and New South Wales, and we also have UK and Singapore. So
Wow.
if we don't have specific areas of expertise or the geographical location and things, we can work to find the teachers that you need as well. So
great. Continue on.
Great, thanks. So the last part then, once you have selected the teacher, and there's a chat that you have and a negotiation of the project and the fee. And I'll talk more about that down the track. But then it's the time to collaborate. And at the moment, we're doing some of that manually, but we've started development so that the collaboration will happen inside the system. So we can upload tasks, we can chat, document sharing, the web conferences and things like that. So I wanted to just share a couple of examples with you of how a teacher can add value. So this is a big area in terms of a teacher sharing critical insight. So that can be at any stage in the development. It could be if you're at ideation stage, concept, design and development, or even if you wanted a solution trialed or reviewed and then some feedback. So that's very important. This one's all about the reality. You know, it's asking teachers about what's happening right now, what problems you have, what do you need, what are the requirements, what's possible, what's achievable. So I think there's a very large percentage of people we're working with at the moment who actually aren't educators themselves. So we're working with technologists, scientists, business developers, and these people really don't have that knowledge of what's like at the coal face. So the teacher insight interviews can help there. Also, of course, there's reviewing content, which could be websites or learning resources or reviewing a solution. I was speaking with a teacher last week who was reviewing, and he said, oh my goodness, like I'm reading this website and it's talking about you know, the industrial model of education and how currently education is subpar. And he said, look, when you're a teacher working so hard and supporting a complexity of a diversity of student needs on a day-to-day basis, you're doing your absolute best. He said, that's very hard to sort of swallow. And I actually didn't want to read on much further after that. So I think it's really important, this reviewing stage, because it's really about how we're communicating with teachers. And they are looking at things from quite a different perspective often than what we are from outside. I guess too, reviewing a solution, you know, how does the functionality work? If you have to open a new window, get back to the dashboard, or, you know, things like that, people are going to log on again. So reviewing a solution in all its different technical detail is another area. And there's writing content and curriculum linking, which is all about tapping into teacher expertise. So they have this really broad sort of depth to their knowledge around programming, curriculum, planning, reporting and assessment. And so many, all of those things are mandated. So if our solutions aren't really aligned to those syllabus areas or those requirements, really teachers won't see a lot of value in that. So we need to make sure that we're supporting their daily work as well. Jenna, are there any other questions, or are we good to keep moving?
Yeah, go ahead, keep on moving. I think we're having a few sound problems out there. So if if we continue to have sound issues, I'll let you know. But I think most people seem to be pretty good at the moment. So yeah, continue on.
Yeah, fabulous. All right. If you have any other ideas about how teachers can add value to your projects, please pop them in to the chat, and we can definitely take that on board and have a look at it as we're continuing to refine and evolve, and as things are evolving. So I'd love to show you, here's an example of a simple project page. So I'll read it. So the project is just about an assessment app. So my team has developed the concept for a new app that will help teachers to record assessment information on the run. We'd like to connect with 5 teachers to ask them some questions to help us learn more about how teachers currently record assessment information. So there we have the description and also the task categories that we talked about, and there's a place to upload files. Sometimes if you need help to scope a project, we can help with that as well. This is one that, you know, it's exciting because technology has just enabled us to do so much. So here you could be connecting with teachers from anywhere in Australia to ask for their insight. Here we have a website review. So this one's a little less hands-on. So the task is to review a website and share feedback before the launch of a learning management system. And again, the project categories are being selected, and the budget and the timeline. So when yeah, okay, before I go on, I just wanted to check. The question is there anything else that you would like to see on the project page? So I imagine that this is going to be a place that will evolve as we move along. But this has sort of like the core of what we need to at the moment. And if we need to have more information, then we can just make contact with you and help you help understand a little bit more about the project as well.
I've got a question from Colin. He's asked, is that pricing budget and budget generally in line with what you see in the platform? Do you have any comments about pricing?
Yeah, sure thing. So we're just working on our fee schedule at the moment, and we will have some sort of a resource to support that, so that once you know actually what you need, then you can check the fee schedule and just see, well, what sort of budget would that look like? These things here are quite, I guess they're discrete tasks, so they're easier to price, but there might be much bigger projects and the pricing then would be slightly different. So teachers have told us how much, you know, that they would want to do this work for. And part of our mission was about valuing teachers. So I think they just do so much already and so much for free already. So we've said, if you were to work on an hourly rate, what would that be? And because they are leaders in the field, that's why the scale is up there. And it slides depending on the complexity of the task and who the teacher would be. So it just really depends. But when you invite them to a task as well, you can also negotiate the price there. So there's different supports, the fee schedule, and also that negotiation with the teacher.
And so Anne's asked an interesting follow-up question, which is really, do you have the ability to book a teacher on an ongoing project and pay per hour? What would that look like?
Yeah, that would be possible. I think in terms of the payment model that we're working with, we will probably organise it around Milestones, but we don't have anything, you know, there's nothing fast and hard about it. So that's something that we could talk more about, absolutely. But from my first thought, it would be, well, what do you want to achieve in, you know, the first 6-hour block, for example? And then maybe the payment could be organised like that, so that it is more flexible from everybody's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound okay, Andrew? Was it?
It was Anne, but yeah,
Anne.
we'll see if she has any more questions after that.
Okay.
I've just, okay, Kathleen's asked a question, which is, do your teachers need to declare anywhere that they're doing this, and what is the responsibility around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in our FAQs, that's one of the questions on the website. And if teachers are working full-time in a sector, absolutely, they need to apply that they are maybe working, you know, however many extra hours a week. I think most sectors really acknowledge the fact that when teachers contribute and use their expertise, it's a really positive thing because they're also acquiring new skills and capabilities. But yes, if teachers are full-time, they do need to follow their own policies and apply in that situation. Absolutely.
Okay, so just to, because I've never worked as a teacher before, what would that look like if you were a teacher, say, working for the department? Would you have to declare that to the department, or who would you have to talk to?
Yeah, there's just a form that you have to fill out, and it just says, you know, what are you working on and how many hours a week in addition to your core. So these are tasks that don't happen in the core teacher hours. They're tasks that happen, you know, in addition in the afternoon or on a weekend or something like that. But even if you're part-time or temporary, and that's me, but I still filled out the form, you know, because I think, well, it's great that people know what you're doing and that you have a drive to collaborate and contribute to other projects.
Oh, you're still teaching casually at the moment?
No, I just work 2 days a week.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, we all have young families, and you know, Edukana's a young startup, so yeah, it helps.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah. If anyone else wants to ask questions, that would be great. Oh, actually, Lynn's asked another question again on a practical level, which is, do teachers need their own ABN? Is this like being a consultant?
Yeah, super. Thank you for that. So in the FAQs also it explains that if you don't have an ABN, teachers just need to fill out a statement by supplier, and we can provide that as well. So either way is fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good questions. So with scoping a project, this is really just a summary of what we had a look at, but you know, we have the project description. I think it's important to provide a little bit of context as well. And that's the actual what. So what's the solution? A noun, what are you building? And in relation to working with a teacher, what goals do you want to achieve? You want to learn more, you want expertise around how does it map to the curriculum? And actually, what do you want delivered? Some people might know if it's, say, a review task, they want the teacher to spend 6 hours really reviewing something in detail, or another one might be just a quick hour review. What is your first, you know, thoughts on this, and then feedback. And then we consider breaking larger tasks into milestones. We're looking at the categories, and they're sort of scaffolded in the platform at the moment. And then if there is a bigger task, like I know when I was working for a sector in education, we would have a bigger scope, and that's something that could be uploaded. So rather than having to type it all into that text box, if you already have a project scoped out, then you can just upload it, and that would help the teacher a lot to know where you're headed and what they need to do. All right. And
before we continue on, a bunch of questions are just coming through just about some practical details.
Super. Yeah.
So Anne and Selena have basically asked, will people be paid through Upwork or paid directly by the user? Or essentially, would users be contracting with Edukana or directly with the teacher?
Yeah. So with I think did she mean Edukana instead of Upwork?
No, what she was saying is it like Upwork, where you don't
Upwork.
just pay directly into someone's bank account? Is it kind of the same sort of format?
Yeah, sure. So when a project is posted and a teacher's selected and the teacher has agreed, yes, they will work on that project with you, then the fee is paid at that moment to Edukana, and then we release the funds to the teacher once the project's been completed.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The other question from Ibrahim is, do developers view teacher profiles and pick from a pool of teachers, or do you match projects to teachers? Great
question, Ibrahim. At the moment, developers look through the teacher profiles and select manually, and I think that will always be possible. Down the track, there will also be filtering depending on your requirements. As our pool of teachers grows, I think the filtering will help a lot in the way that we're interacting more efficiently. So, but I think both, and at the moment, yeah, looking through the profiles. And you know, if there's something that we can help with in terms of finding the correct teacher, or we know the teacher profiles quite well, you could always make contact with us and we can help you as well to source the teacher. And we can also support you in terms of designing the strategy. So if you have a big piece of work that you can see coming and you're thinking, wow, what are those points where it would be just so wonderful to have teachers insight or input along the way, we can help with that. And we can also help you to scope or break down projects if they're a bigger, more complicated type of work. And yes, the curating of project teams. And our platform is agile, it's developing all the time. We're talking to our users all the time, which has been really great feedback. We're doing some work with YC. We worked with some amazing mentors as well. And I think that is one of the biggest learnings that we've made is if you're doing two things, one of them is talking to users and the other one is the development. So that's been very exciting for us and it's helping us to guide where we're headed as well.
Great. Sounds good.
So I think from my perspective, you know, please make contact with us at any point in time. There's a contact form on the website. We also have, if you want to register, we make contact with you, or if you just want to make contact manually, email or call, that would be fantastic. We were really excited about, you know, being in the space and collaborating in this really exciting arena. So,
yeah. Of course, everyone can see that you can get in touch with Belinda. We've still got more questions coming through.
That's
Bronze
great.
made a comment, which is, and Bronze, a teacher, she's worked a lot with startups in this part of her career. Bronze asked, it's my experience that a lot of startups don't know what part of their design they most need educator input in.
Yes.
Are you advising on projects on where they might best invite educators to join, and how would you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be probably around the designing a strategy for talking to your users and teachers. So that's something that we could talk to you about as well. And how we're doing that at the moment, that's manually. So that will be making contact with us, and then we can really get to know your project and what you need. And then we can work with you as well to design that strategy. But yeah, fantastic point, because sometimes if you've been working a lot of startups, you've discovered already that, yeah, then they're not quite sure when and where they need. So good, very great observation, yeah.
Yep, so Collins asked, what's the charge for companies to register?
There is no charge, so you can jump on board, Colin. We would love to have you as part of our community.
Colin said, I'm already on it, already doing it. Anne's asked, do you have any competencies around school timetabling for understanding when major assessments are happening and budgeting decisions? I think that's and I might get you to clarify that question a little bit. So I'll just wait for that in a second. And also the other person is Murray. If you can clarify your question a little bit around NDIS and families and teachers, that would be really helpful too. So Carolyn's got a pretty basic question, which is like, essentially, how do you make money out of all of this?
Yeah, well, when somebody posts a task and the fee is agreed on, then Edukana has a small percentage of that, and then the teacher is paid at the end.
Andrew's asked, do you have any interest in working with tertiary teachers and educators, or only school teachers at this stage?
Andrew, just last week I was speaking with somebody who has this vision, and she's already started with her solution. And yes, absolutely looking forward to tertiary. We've had both tertiary, people from the tertiary sector contact us, and also people who are wanting to connect with people in the tertiary sector. This was about writing content, and that's absolutely another area. We would just need to probably change our profiling a little bit, because we have started out with the primary and high school and early childhood sector. But that's, all the sort of architectures there. It's just that the capabilities or the learning areas will be slightly different. But yes, absolutely. So at the moment, if you have a need in that area, make contact with us and we can support you manually until we're sort of ready for that in the platform.
Great. Andrew's actually asked a second question, which is, are you supporting ex-teachers, or do they need to be just current teachers?
No. So this is ex-teachers, absolutely, and retired teachers or part-time teachers, teachers on maternity leave, teachers who just want to work in a school part-time. I think part of the mission here for me right from the beginning has been about valuing our amazing teachers who are out there, and there's no one size fits all. And I think even if a teacher has moved out of this classroom for whatever reason, or they're retired, I know so many retired teachers who are absolute artists in their field, and they have so much wind in their sails still. And so this is the place where they can contribute and where we can learn from them. So absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, so Murray's clarified his question. So his question is, are you able to get your teachers involved with programs for NDIS and disabled students who may have things like cognitive disabilities and other NDIS funded participants? This is a highly focused area of skill where teachers might need to be more involved.
Sure. I haven't really thought about that one. I have thought about, we have teachers in our system who are special education qualified, and they have real expertise in supporting children across the full spectrum of abilities. So I was thinking that those sort of teachers will be brilliant to really make sure that a solution is going to be really suitable for a variety of our learner needs. In terms of then matching in with the NDIS, I probably need to know more about what is the project and what do they need, and then think, well, do we have teachers who could support that? So yeah, I can't quite answer because I'm not totally sure of what the project brief would look like, but I'd love to chat with you and learn more about it if you want to make contact.
Yep, sounds good. Does anyone else have any more questions? Oh, I've got one from Selena. Do you screen your teachers and screen the businesses? Is there a process for that?
Yeah, well, in terms of the teacher validation, we have all of those areas that I explained. So yeah, around teacher registration number, areas of expertise, qualifications, working with children, all of that sort of thing, absolutely. And we want to make sure that our teachers are the highest level of quality. In terms of the businesses, when a business joins us, they also add their ABN, their description, their website, so we can have a really close look as well, and make sure, and just make sure that we know really closely who we are working with. Yeah.
Just following up on Anne's question, which has, she's clarified here. Her question is about, so school holidays are available online, but what she's trying to really understand is really what the assessment marking periods in schools look like, and whether teachers can give insight into that.
That's, I can't quite answer that at the moment. I think, in terms of the broad assessment schedules, like the standardized state-based tests, I think that's easier. In terms of the, individual school assessment schedules, I'm not quite sure, because I think they're all so diverse. But again, Anne, I'd probably need to learn a little bit more about the question, and I can do some research.
Yeah, I mean, and it certainly is quite different state by state, depending on how all those programs look, and how schools approach assessment as well. So yeah, that's actually quite an interesting area to be thinking about. So I don't think we have any more questions at this stage. So you've got Belinda's details there, and I'll also send an email to everyone who's participated today with a brief summary of Edukana and Belinda's information, so that you can get in touch with her. It's really great to have businesses and companies like this really dedicated to connecting teachers with people and companies like yourselves, and I'm really, really excited about what Belinda's been working on. So without any more questions, I'm going to wrap this session up. Thank you so much, Belinda, for your time. Thank you also to Victor and Evelina for jumping on. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your night. It's been really, really great to have you all join us. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to connect soon. Bye.